to Wild Cottage Knitting and Crochet. I'm Susan. I live in County Clare in the west of Ireland. Live with my, who do I live with? I live with my partner Tom, my bonus son Merlin, our 3 adopted dogs, and lots of wildlife all around the place. At the moment, though, for the past week and another week or so, I'm in County Kilkenny, also in Ireland, at my friend Susanna's Svartbloss Ireland farm, Black Sheep Farm, and I'm helping her lamb. So I do the night shift of checking the ewes at night, throughout the night, and we've had several nights there with no lambing. There were 14 ladies to lamb this year, not a whole lot. I mean, not that she has an enormous flock, but some years there's probably been, well, I don't even remember anymore. It's just been happening so much, but maybe closer to 20. Anyway, 14. There are 8 left, so what's that? Math, 6 have lambed. So I'm a little bit more coherent today because I've had a little bit more sleep. It's very warm when the sun is out. I have on no knitwear, and I'm getting ready to take this off because when the sun is out, it's hot. I have my Fiber Arts Major sweatshirt on that I got via saw it on the Charm City Unicorns. Shayla of Black Pearl Magic was wearing something similar from her shop, and I wanted to maybe get one when I was in the US. Oh, camera thing is over there. So I went in a shop and I saw this one, and I really wanted it because I was an arts major in uni. So, and if they had Fiber Arts Major when I was in uni, this is a long time ago, several decades, I would have done that. But luckily, you don't, am I still recording? Why, something happened. Luckily, you don't have to go to university to be a Fiber Arts major. So I'm going to take this off. I'm sorry about the shadow, my face being in shadow, but it's just so sunny everywhere, and this is south facing. So I thought I would try to catch you up. I'll put here on the screen where you can find me. Editing Susan popping in to say this was recorded one of the last weeks of April. I'm home now, but today is the 14th of May. And we have not had internet at the cottage in Clare until now. So this is only being uploaded now. And there will be more content put on the membership, put on YouTube, now that I actually can make content and upload it. So I'm mainly YouTube. I like just using the one platform. And because of that, I also just started a little YouTube membership. It's 99 cents a month. You can join for 1 month or loads of months. The 99-cent tier, you get everything, which is the sort of little extra videos and posts and that sort of things. Things that maybe that I would put up that would be probably a bit more vloggy, that not everyone that watches the channel wants to see that. Or, you know, just little bits and pieces that aren't enough for a podcast will go up there. That's my idea. And then I think eventually you can get like a community thing where we can share photos with each other. I don't think I'm at that point yet, but that's what I'm kind of building to, because I would love to see what you are working on. I'm not a great social media person. I like things all in one place because, yeah. So anyways, if we could do that there, that would be super great. It's just so easy to just do things on YouTube because you're here. You're here on YouTube. Anyway, that's enough of that. So yes, so I will show you some of the things that I have been doing. I finished the Nivalis sweater by Teti Lusac. So it's not blocked. A lot of it has been blocked along the way because I tend to do that, particularly with color work and just as I try on. But when I decided to do it, that I would give it to Susanna, I brought it here. It was part way done and it fit her, but I just had to lengthen the body and sleeves. So that part hasn't been blocked, but the top has pretty much been blocked. So this follows the opening of a snowdrop flower is the idea behind it. And you might be able to see I have the colorways gently changing. I started with this palette yarn from Knit Picks. It's that non-superwash 100% Peruvian wool. Oh, and here's time. Okay, there's a lot of animals here. Oh, look, let's try to do this. So, yeah. Here's time. This is why, in a lot of ways, I haven't got a lot of knitting done, aside from sort of, I was thinking, oh, I'm not that busy because I just do the night shift, but actually I'm doing loads of stuff with Susanna, like errands and helping her place plants in the woodland, like just, we're making design decisions together. And then a lot of times when I sit down to knit, things like this happens between time and oven mitt and then the dogs. Anyway, but I managed to finish the, now he's of course lying on my jumper. I finished the extension of the arms and the body, and then I will wash and block it. I want to try to stretch it a little bit along here for her under here. So I'm going to do some jiggery pokery just with like a towel, and if she has some kind of pins, try to pin it out just a little bit. And then I will get her to try it on, hopefully, and model it for you. But sorry, I had to evict time. So here, editing Susan, popping in to say, in case it's not clear, I'm talking a lot about the gauge and stuff because I think there are things that maybe will help other people in this pattern and other patterns. But the pattern is written for fingering weight yarn. And I did have to end up using DK weight, which for the reasons I'll explain shortly. So what you're looking at, the color work is the Knit Picks palette, which is a fingering weight yarn held double. And the yarn I had originally ordered for the main color was also a Knit Picks palette fingering weight. But because I ordered that when I was visiting the US, when I was here in Ireland, I didn't have enough of that to hold double. And I, of course, couldn't order it from the US to here. So luckily, I was able to find the Drops Karisma, which is a DK weight. That was nearly exactly the same color. So yeah, the main body is actually knit up in a yarn I got in Ireland, which is the Drops Karisma in color 50, also known as sea green. It is. So yeah, so we started with the Sagebrush colorway. Then I moved into holding it double with Clarity, which is, these are all Knit Picks colors, and then just white. And then I did run out, so I had to get some just Drops, I think it was Drops Fable from my stash, and hold that double. And then the main color is not Knit Picks, although I had bought Knit Picks for this. And this is where I will go into my thoughts about the pattern. So I mean, you can see it is very beautiful, and it's very, very well written, and it fits really nicely. Okay, so yeah, just give us a twirl there, Susanna. So you see, I've modified there. I made the back, I put extra short rows on the back as well as the ones on the neck, because Susanna seems to have a long back. Well, compared to me, I'm just short. And yeah, and the color work is looking really good. Don't know, it's hard to see, and now it's blowing out the colors in this bright light. But yeah, so there we are. And pull your arms up so that, yeah, see, so like it doesn't, because I've lengthened it, it doesn't raise up. There's a little spot there where I need to just tighten in under her arm, do some stitching, and there's some ends I have to weave in. But yeah, what do you think? Are you happy? Is it comfy?
I love it. I'm ready to wear it during snowdrop season.
Exactly. You're not going to be able to wait. Like if we're going to be like, hurry up, February, come back.
Exactly.
Right. So I have no complaints about that, but it was just the gauge. So this was written, the recommended yarn is fingering weight. And I just didn't really think deeply when I was looking at through the pattern. You know, I didn't really absorb what the gauge was and then the way I knit. So I'm not like a super tight knitter, but I am a tighter knitter. And I ordered the yarns. So I had ordered, because I was in the US at the time, and they were having that fantastic sale at Knit Picks, and I ordered a Knit Picks colorway, which was actually very close to this. And I ordered what I would need for my size, which I was looking to do a size that would be about a 38 inch bust. So I ordered that, came back home to Ireland with that yarn, and then went to cast on to do the swatch. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute now. So the gauge is 22 stitches for the color work and 24 for the body with the fingering weight yarn. And even so, I get with the fingering weight yarn, I get a lot more stitches than that with the recommended needle size. Well, I just automatically went up in a needle size to try to get that. I still couldn't get it. I could not get that gauge. I was getting like many more stitches, and if I didn't want to go up anymore, and I didn't really like the fabric. I like a big gauge, loose, flowy fabric in the summer months, but for a woolly knit for color work, I don't want. I want my color work to look like that. I don't want to see any gaps in between. I just I'm a pretty casual about my knitting, especially if I'm doing it for me, about mistakes. But that's a thing that as I have knit more and more color work, I just am not, no. I just don't like that, seeing that gappiness. So, and I don't catch my floats. And that's probably one of the reasons, is because when I catch the floats, it's easier to have like that pokey through bit. And I had read somewhere, not long after I'd started doing color work a few years ago, about tin can knits, and they were like, yeah, we don't catch floats, so I don't catch floats unless it's like a ginormous float. I would catch floats, I suppose, more if it's for somebody else, but if it's for me, like I didn't have to. There were probably some of these where people might catch some floats, but I definitely didn't catch any. And I will have great big strips of floats that, unless my head is going to go in there and strangle myself because it's that big, I'm not catching floats on a jumper or socks, or I don't find a problem. Anyway, so experiment with that if you want, and especially if you're using non-superwash, they tend to felt in. Anyway, so I was super unhappy. I was just like, I just can't even. So I suppose my learning from this, and maybe this will be a learning for you, is to really look at the gauge and the yarn that is recommended in the pattern, because if you kind of know what gauge you usually get, or, what your tension usually is, you might kind of you could save yourself. So I bought all that fingering weight yarn and I couldn't use it in that project. Now, I'm sure I'll use it in some project sometime. It wasn't expensive. It was, a big sale, 30% off, and Knit Picks Palette isn't very expensive anyway. And I was lucky because then I was able to get Drops Karisma here in Ireland. The color was nearly the same, and it was on sale. So for a 50-gram ball of the DK weight, so I decided I'm going to get DK because that's how I'm going to get a decent fabric.
Popping in again to just say about getting your fabric. So obviously I could have done, and I did, some knitter's math to see at my tighter gauge what size could I knit. There's a wonderful range of sizes in her pattern, so I could have knit. So what size would I need to go up to in order to use that fingering weight yarn? Well, the size was many sizes up. It would be so many more stitches that I would have to knit. And I didn't want to do that. So obviously you can do knitter's math, especially if there's that wide range of sizes that you have to choose from. But for me, it was just easier to get a thicker yarn. So if you're new to knitter's math, or if you've done it before, I will link down below the channel Genevieve from the North. So she has a series of 5 videos, which if you're new to knitter's math, you can start at the beginning, or if you know about knitter's math, the reason she's made it in several videos, you can skip the parts that you probably already know, and it's on a playlist. So I'll link that playlist below because it could be quite helpful. And actually, I've watched the first couple just because I wanted to be able to recommend. And I see now she's got one where she does the Polina vest, which is another one of Teti's patterns. So I have to watch that and see how she found it. Like if the problem was the gauge was too loose for her as well. Because I'd be curious to see, is just Teti a looser knitter or whatever. Anyways, yeah, I'll link it below.
So luckily Drops Karisma was on sale here in Ireland. So for the 50 grams of the DK weight was €1.75. So I was able to get all that I needed until I needed to lengthen it for Susanna, by which time all that color, which was color 50 or sea green, was sold out in the Karisma. But I did find some in Drops Lima, which is this. Oops. And that is a mix of 65% wool and 35% alpaca, and it's non-superwash, and it has 100 meters in the 50 gram ball, just like the Karisma. And the color is the same, the sea green, and it's basically the same. So you can't tell, even here in this bright light or anything. I probably needed to start adding the Lima about here. Here comes Susanna on the quad. I'll pause. So I'll just try to give you a close-up of the color work. And you can probably see the Sagebrush going into held double with a Sagebrush and a Clarity, and then the Clarity on its own, and then just white. And I did that because when I was looking at all the different projects, it seemed to me that the fact that you could see the transition of the buds slowly opening, you could see it better when there wasn't as all the same color. So that's why I did that. The neck is a rolled neck, and again I found that kind of interesting. She gives you an option where you can just start a little bit ahead with the numbers if you want a wider neck, and I did that. And so there's the rolled neck, but I found that it rolls a little bit, so where you can see a little bit of the floats perhaps, and it covers a little bit of this color work. And that doesn't have anything to do with starting with a bit bigger neck, because it's just simply the numbers, not the amount of rows. So I might see about pinning that out a little bit when I block it. But it's not a big deal, but just something that may or may not happen to you. I'm looking the wrong way again, I'm sorry. Just to be aware of. But it is a beautiful pattern. Oh, and the biggest thing, actually, I forgot to say, she has written it, and most of the projects are done where your floats are on the outside. And that has a name, and I can't remember it right now. I'll put it on the screen. I'll just turn my jumper inside out so you can kind of see. Now, but when I carefully looked at the projects like that, no, it wasn't my favorite. So I just did it, and she gives you the option. She mentions you can just do it as traditional stranded. So I mean, obviously it's, you can see how, that's the inside out. You can see here at the very bottom where I ran out of the Knit Picks wool and I had to use a sock yarn, and the floats are a bit longer, and also that yarn was a bit thinner, and you can just really, you can see, I mean, I can see that difference. You see that difference? It doesn't matter, it's on the inside. When I do circular yokes, for sure, I always go by my upper bust. I've been playing with whether I do it for me or for Susanna now, and my bust is probably bigger than hers, but she's, strong and broad through here. So my upper bust is it's actually about 36.5 inches. Generally, I mean, I go up and down in fluffiness, not because of hormonals, because I'm well postmenopausal, but because of health issues. It depends on how I'm feeling, how active I'm able to be. So I kind of go up and down in fluffiness, but up here stays, I think, fairly constant. So I go by this measurement for the circular yoke. And then if it fits snugly across here, that's fine. That's nice. It's not too tight. If I go for a 40 inch, if I go, 40 inch bust, and then it does that thing here, you get way too much fabric. But So what I did to kind of make up for that, because the sleeve then might be a little bit too tight with, you know, bit of, you know, I'm going to be 60 this year, so we got this happening. This lovely flesh is happening, and I just needed to add a few extra stitches when it came to the arm. So I added on a few. And actually, if I had thought about it, I could have added on even a little more, just because Susanna's so strong through here. But I think when I block it, if I just pin this part, you know, this out a little bit, it fits her, but it would just be not quite, it would just give her a little more room. This is the front. I mean, there are short rows, so there are short rows in the back neck. And then when Susanna tried it on, I saw how long her back seems to be in regards to her front. I added more short rows down here, and yeah, and you know, I probably could have added a few more. I think I did about 1 inch, and I could have actually done 1.5 inches. It's fine, like, but I just didn't want her, because she's very active, for it to be riding up too much. But then again, it does still need blocked, and it'll grow a little bit. Anyhow, so that's my Nivalis sweater, or pullover. She calls it a pullover, by Teti Lutzak. And I do recommend. It is beautiful, and her patterns are beautiful. And you may know she has a channel here on YouTube called Teti's Knit Garden. She is a lovely Ukrainian designer living in the Netherlands. She has been for a while with her family. And she was a botanist. She's, I think, mainly just a knitwear designer at the moment, but her patterns are very, very, you know, botany plant inspired. So, like, do check her out. She's got some lovely things. So that's that. What I'm trying to do is, I won't cast on another garment until I've finished a garment. That just seems to be really working out for me. So I had seen, I'm a terrible squirrel. I'm terrible, like, ooh, shiny. And I get distracted from my plans a lot, which is why it works out well for me. Don't cast on until you finished a thing. So I had other plans to cast on a different jumper, but I saw come up, you know, if you're looking at Ravelry and you look on like the home page and you scroll down past what's hot right now, it will show you like what we think you'll like, or something like that. Like they curate based on what you look at, what you've bought. And they showed me the Auren top by Valentina something. Anyways, on the screen, put on the drop down, because I can't say her name properly. The Auren, I believe is how you say it, top. And it is a beautiful circular yoke, short sleeve top with lace and like cables. And it is so pretty. I'm putting pictures on the screen now. So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I cast on, and I've just done the collar. Now this is a pattern that will take your attention. And I find that can be really good for when I am like not overly like personally upset. Like, so for example, like back, you know, in the end of December when my father had the stroke and all that, I was trying to do the Burren shawl, which is a cable pattern. I was doing it as a test knit, and I couldn't focus. I kept messing it up really badly, which is bad when it's a test knit. If it's just for you, it doesn't matter. So I pulled out of that test knit, and they were very good and let me do that. But then I decided to do it when they were doing it as a make-along. And since it wasn't like a heightened, immediate worry in my personal life, I was able to do it. But I found that because I was having thoughts, you know, anxious thoughts about different things in the world, and I mean some sort of personal things, but nothing. Oh, here comes people, so I'll stop. What I found for myself personally, that doing an intricate pattern where I have to follow the pattern, as long as I'm not like heightened state, it will calm those thoughts that you might have. You know, like if you're just knitting something kind of simple, you can end up ruminating, and then you go wrong because you're ruminating. But if you know you really have to pay attention to a pattern, that's where your focus is. So I find the more complicated patterns like this really good for that sort of time. And I just put in the lifeline in the knitting so that if I do go wrong, I don't have to pull it all the way back. So for this project, I'm using the most expensive yarn I ever bought in my life. If you were watching the Vlogmas videos I did, you may have seen me talk about this. I don't usually buy very expensive yarn. Like if I buy the hand-dyed yarns and stuff, most of the time it's within my sort of budget. I'm looking for around sort of like 20 to 26 euros sort of max, and a lot of times I buy on sale or de-stash or whatnot. But I was doing the test knit for the Burren shawl, and I'm in the US, so I'm not there with, you know, my stash in Ireland, and I had ordered a suitable yarn from Knit Picks, but it got lost. And the deadline, you know, like I was like, I need to start knitting because there is a deadline. So my lovely friend Cher, who has a wonderful podcast here on YouTube, please go check it out and give her a subscribe. It's called Lathe and Loom. She's a knitter. She does spinning. She's doing something in crochet at the minute, I do believe. She does some machine knitting and some natural dyeing. She lives in North Carolina, and so she was able to come up, and we met in Richmond at a yarn shop called Dances with Wool. And I was like, I had a mission to get a yarn for this project, and it had needed to have a certain stitch definition inside of a drape because it was a shawl with cables. And I could not find anything, you know, in the weight and the sort of, you know, the fiber content that I liked in a color that made me excited, because it was going to be a fair bit of knitting, and nothing was really bringing me joy. And I was like, I don't want to do this if it's not bringing me joy with any of these yarns. I want to knit with a yarn that's going to bring me joy. So the only yarn I could find that brought me some joy was Bien Amiée. And I needed 3 skeins because 2 wouldn't quite do it. It was a sport weight yarn, but I figured I could get gauge with that. It was only a little bit difference in the yarn that was like the recommended sort of yarn. And so I got the Sport Nouveau 300 meters in the 100 grams. It's 100% non-superwash fine merino, and the colorway is Confetti Cake. But it was $39.50 a skein. And I was like, well, I can't buy any other yarn in this shop. But I bought 3 skeins of this. Hold on, here comes the quad. The cloud has come. You can, wow, look at the difference. That is Lorca's tail hitting. Let's see, let's look at Lorca. Lorca, hey, what's that? Oh, Lorca is not quite, maybe he's 6 months now, I don't know. If he is, he's just 6 months. He is a lovely boy. He's a big, giant German Shepherd. He's going to be so big. And his nickname is Doofus, which tells you all you need to know about his puppiness. But Brendel, the grown German Shepherd, she's not his mammy, but she's like his acting mammy, really. She's traded him up. So, like, I mean, once he knows you, he's a doofus, but, you know, he's protective. She's taught him all that, but, yeah. he's lovely. He's a really good dog, like, yeah. So, but I'll quickly show you this in this light. Probably this light is probably a lot better for filming, but it's a rain cloud and it might rain on me. But this is the Confetti Cake. No, that's me. That's my attempt. It's my attempt of scanning up. I'm absolutely awful. And that's skein. So, midnight lambing check on Tuesday the 22nd. I spent the whole day in bed because I wasn't feeling well. At 5 a.m. in the morning, so my last check yesterday was 3 a.m. 5 a.m. in the morning, Susanna did did the check, and Kestrel had twins, a boy and a girl. And she, brought her and put her in the stall right next to me, right next to the cottage, right next to the bedroom. I didn't hear any of that. So I slept. Obviously, I was fast asleep from about 2:30 till then I woke up at 9, and I didn't feel very good. So I spent the day in bed, and I never even heard Kestrel bang. Everybody was quiet, or either I was just so out of it I didn't hear anything. But now I'm feeling that bit better, and everybody's quiet, so we'll see what happens at 3 a.m. So there's 7 ladies left to go. Mustard, I don't want you to go into the bedroom. Well, hey kitty kitty. Hi kitty kitty. So we don't often see Mustard. Bear, be nice to Mustard, don't be jealous. Yeah, kitty kitty. Kitty kitty. And Bear is very jealous. Yeah, I know. But I don't often see Mustard, and you're here the whole time, Bear. Yeah. I'm going to put down the camera. And had the second coffee. And I just saw Kestrel is in that stall. Or if she's still in there, unless Suzanne took her out earlier. But the swallows have a nest in there. Just saw swallows swoop in, so they might get a little... There's Kestrel and her babies. So Kestrel had a boy and a girl. Yeah. There, swallow flew out the other end. Hello. Oh, you got iodine on your head, did you? Yeah, you did. Yes, you are giving me stink eye. You're protecting babies. Yeah. I'm not going to hurt them, darling. Oh, look. Yeah, they're 2 big fine lambs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's making sure everything's okay. Great job, Mama. You know how I just, about an hour ago showed you the video of Crystal? Well, the whole time there was another lady and lamb in here, but she made not a sound. So I'm going to look at her now. Hey. Oh, stamping, telling me off. And there's her 2 babies. Okay. I'm going. She was very quiet. Come on, doggies. Susanna's checking on it. Crystal's and her babies are going to go out now.
I have to ear tag them first.
To ear tag. She's going to ear tag. And then they're going to go to the paddock. They've been in there. The lambs are a couple days old now, so nice and strong and big. They're both big. So, thirsty doggies. Oh, can you hear the church bell? The Smileys are all waiting to see what happens next. Lambs are getting ear tagged. It doesn't hurt them at all. Having a drink. So that one just got its ear tag. That's the little boy, or big boy. He's a big boy.
Big boy.
And they're going out now. Do you want me to open this?
Yes, please.
Good job. So Mommy will, of course, follow. Oh, my goodness.
Very exotic.
Come here, doofus. Good boy, Lorca. Look, and they're all running in here, and you know why? Because the poos that the lamb do are all milky. Come out of there now. Come out. Come out. Come on. Come out. Nope, and that's one reason this guy's gotten so fluffy fat. Come on, Brendel. Because milky poos. Look, so they're going and running and following. Yeah. Yeah. So, see, there's going into the gate there. Lorca. Lorca. She's in through the gate now anyway.
Right, so I got cut off talking about the Auren top, but I will be filming more about some of the knitting projects and my crochet project. So look out for that. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I'm still here for a couple more days, so we will have another video, possibly two, at Black Sheep Farm. Take care, friends.